Imagine this. A saint who passed away at just 15 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. And known as God's influencer. And he was just canonized by Pope Leo.
It's quite a story.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? About, faith and sainthood today in the 21st century.
Absolutely. How it's all evolving.
So today we're doing a deep dive into this, truly fascinating story of Carlo Acutis. He's the Catholic Church's first millennial saint.
First millennial saint. That alone is significant.
Exactly. And our mission here is to unpack the sources we've got, mainly this really insightful video transcript from DW News.
Okay.
We want to explore who Carlo Acutis really was, how he achieved sainthood so quickly.
Which is a key question.
Right. And what his story tells us about the church, trying to connect with younger generations in this digital age.
It really bridges that personal faith journey with the bigger institutional picture, doesn't it?
It does. It's personal faith meets, global strategy.
It's a rich narrative. And what's really compelling, I think, is how his own story, this deep devoutness he had, plus his intuitive grasp of technology, how that intersects with this larger question of how ancient faiths navigate modernity and even thrive in it.
Yeah, thrive is the word. So we'll connect his experience to the church's broader vision.
Flip forward.
Okay, so let's dive right into Carlo himself. He passed away back in 2006, only 15.
So young. Leukemia, right.
Acute leukemia, yes. Born in London, interestingly, but grew up mostly in Milan, Italy.
And spent summers near Assisi.
That's right, which becomes really significant later, obviously. His mother, Antonia Salzano, described him as, an ordinary child in many ways.
Like how?
Loved animals, passionate about football, and even young, got into computing. Pretty typical stuff.
Okay, relatable.
But she also said he was the kind of kid who stood up for others, defending schoolmates from bullies, things like that.
Okay. That adds another dimension.
It does. It adds to that relatability.
And that's where the ordinary starts to meet the extraordinary, perhaps.
Exactly. Because his mother's deeper insight was, while he had these normal interests, what really set him apart was, and this is her quote, he opened the door of his heart to Jesus and put Jesus at the first place in his life.
Wow. From a young age.
Apparently, yeah. Really unusual spiritual maturity, deeply devoted to the Eucharist, daily Mass, adoration.
So it wasn't just going through the motions.
Not at all. It was central. A core part of who he was, even as a kid.
Okay.
Which made him stand out.
Okay.
And speaking of standing out, talk about making a saint accessible. The details around his burial, they're pretty striking.
In Assisi, right. In the sanctuary of the spoliation.
Yes. And he's in a glass coffin, but not in robes or anything. He's wearing a tracksuit, sneakers, jeans.
Seriously? Sneakers and jeans?
Yeah. And they apparently reconstructed or remodeled his face and hands to make him look more, complete, presentable.
That's incredible. What does that signal, do you think, for pilgrims?
It makes him seem incredibly human, right? So accessible. Young people visiting can see someone who looks, like them, maybe. Not some distant figure from centuries ago.
It's a very modern image, very deliberate, I guess.
Seems like it.
And his wish to be buried in Assisi, it wasn't just random, was it? It tied into his charity work.
Exactly. He was involved in charity, helping the poor in Milan, echoing St. Francis of Assisi.
Ah, the connection to St. Francis, renouncing wealth, caring for the poor. Pope Francis took his name from him too, of course.
Right. So his being buried there really underlines that spiritual link.
It connects the modern tech kid to that deep tradition of service.
Okay, so let's unpack this sainthood thing. It usually seems like this long, drawn-out process, often takes centuries.
It often does, absolutely.
So how did Carlo Acutis, dying so young, so recently, get canonized? What were the key moments that made it happen so, incredibly fast?
That is the crucial question. Because, historically, canonization, the church declaring someone's a saint, in heaven, worthy of public veneration, it's rigorous. It's long. It usually needs proof of two distinct miracles through their intercession. The first step is beatification, being declared blessed, venerated locally.
Yeah.
And while rules might have eased a bit over time, it's still, as the source says, rare for it to happen this quickly.
So the speed itself tells the story.
Definitely. It highlights his impact, sure, but maybe also the church's intent, perhaps even urgency, to hold him up as a model.
And it's not just a quick decision, right? There's investigation.
Oh, yeah. Each stage involves deep dives, theological, medical, historical reviews. They call it the devil's advocate process, trying to find natural explanations first.
Okay, so the miracles, they're central. The first one, that led to his beatification in 2020. That was a boy in Brazil.
That's right. A child reportedly cured of a serious pancreatic disease. Apparently, prayers were offered specifically for Carlo's intercession.
And the church's medical experts couldn't explain it naturally.
Exactly. After thorough review, they concluded there was no scientific explanation for the recovery. That paved the way for beatification by Pope Francis.
Okay, miracle number 1, then the second one, for the final canonization.
This one involved a Costa Rican student. She had a terrible bike accident, severe head trauma. Doctors were apparently quite pessimistic, saying survival was uncertain.
Oh, wow.
Her mother then prayed for a whole morning before Carlo's relics, objects associated with home.
Right, relics, like bone fragments or things they touched.
Could be. And remarkably, the report says the girl is now completely healthy, no lasting damage, again, deemed medically inexplicable. That sealed the deal for canonization.
And our sources mention another one, too, even earlier. A woman with breast cancer.
Yes, reportedly prayed to him on the day of his funeral and was granted a miracle, a remission, before starting treatment.
It seems like these stories started almost immediately after he died.
It does suggest there was an immediate sense of his holiness among some people.
So how does the church actually define a miracle in these cases?
Archbishop Domenico Serentino, who looks after Carlo's relics, puts it simply. It's something that goes beyond the natural laws of healing.
Okay. Not just good luck or a rare recovery.
No, it has to defy medical or scientific explanation and be attributed to the specific intercession. And speaking of relics, they mention a piece of his heart sac. His pericardium is a major one.
A piece of his heart sac?
Yeah, a first-class relic. And bishops around the world can request these relics for people to venerate. It keeps that physical connection alive, which is a long-standing tradition.
Wow. Okay, now let's get to this part that really captures the imagination. God's influencer, the cyber saint.
Right, the intersection with technology.
But the source makes a really important point. He started using old-fashioned websites from age 11. This was before social media blew up, before iPhones, before the internet was, well, everywhere, all the time.
That's a key distinction. We're not talking Twitter or TikTok here.
No. So what did that old-fashioned internet look like for him? How was he an influencer back then?
Well, think static web pages, maybe early forums, basic content management. He saw, even then, the internet's great potential. He wasn't just consuming content, he was creating. Yeah, taught himself coding, built websites, specifically to evangelize, to guide people to Catholicism, share the gospel.
And he created online exhibitions.
Most famously, yes. Showcasing Eucharistic miracles worldwide, really well researched, making these theological ideas accessible online. He saw the net had a dark side, but focused on the positive side for faith.
A digital missionary before that was even really a thing.
Pretty much, yeah. Ahead of the curve.
And clearly it resonated. His global following is huge, right? Especially young people.
Absolutely. Germany, Italy, Latin America, the numbers are impressive. 1 million pilgrims reportedly visited his tomb in Assisi last year alone.
1 million. That's incredible. What's the magic ingredient? Why him?
Well, Professor Massimo Fagioli points to this powerful mix of modernity, technological modernity, and very traditional Catholic piety.
So the tech skills combined with deep traditional faith.
Yeah.
Like his devotion to the Eucharist.
Exactly. That blend made him a perfect candidate, perhaps, to attract young people who might feel disconnected from purely traditional forms of religion or see faith as old-fashioned.
He showed you could be both, deeply faithful and totally modern.
Right. He modeled an authentic faith lived out in the digital space he inhabited, creating meaningful content, not just noise.
And you can literally see that popularity on the ground in Assisi. The source mentioned souvenir shops sell more Carlo stuff now than St. Francis stuff.
Which, considering Assisi is St. Francis, that's saying something.
It really is a tangible sign of his impact.
A definite shift in focus for many pilgrims.
So, pulling back to the bigger picture, why is the Catholic Church seemingly so eager to canonize Carlo Acutis and, well, so quickly? What's the underlying strategy here?
Connecting the dots, it looks like a very conscious, strategic move by the Church. It's about staying relevant, making itself more attractive to younger generations, millennials, Gen Z.
Like a marketing effort. Is that too cynical?
The source uses that phrase, but perhaps not cynically, more like making belief visible, making it compelling, relatable today, creating accessible role models.
So showing holiness isn't just for history books or monasteries.
Exactly. It's for a teenager who loved computers and PlayStation, but also loved Jesus deeply.